Happy Monday. I'm Tristan Winder in the News 2 Alert Center with the Morning Pulse here on this February 23rd, 2026. Hopefully you had a fantastic weekend and the work week is up and running and off to a good start for you thus far as well. We begin today with a third candidate entering the race for North Platte Public School Board of Education's Ward 3 seat. The seat is currently held by Board President Emily Garrick. Kyle Nichols previously filed for the office as well to challenge Garrick for the seat. And now Jenny Lantis has filed for the office. Lantis has spent over a decade working in healthcare quality and leadership at Great Plains Health in North Platte. Her candidacy ensures that voters in the 3rd Ward of the North Platte Public School Board of Education and the district as well will take a vote on candidates in the upcoming May primary. The top 2 vote getters will then advance to the November general election. Elsewhere, 1999 graduate Val Hyde has announced candidacy for the vacant Ward 2 seat on the board, as Joanne Lundgren has announced intention not to run for another term. She is the longest serving member of the North Platte Public School Board of Education. Thus far, Hyde is running unopposed for the Ward 2 seat. The Ward 1 seat is still featuring a pair of challengers. Over in the capital city, Lincoln Fire and Rescue on the scene early this morning for a fire at a railroad bridge in West Lincoln. The bridge wound up being a total loss, and the cause of the blaze remained unknown as of earlier this morning. Full details can be found on the News 2 app on Roku. Around the nation today, President Trump is increasing the global tariffs to 15%. The announcement was made over the weekend. The president enacted the tariffs under a trade law. However, those can only be in place for 150 days unless Congress votes for an extension. And the Department of Homeland Security reversed the decision to temporarily suspend the most widely used travel security programs in the nation, TSA PreCheck and Global Entry. DHHS said that the security programs would shut down as part of the partial government shutdown, but a few hours later, TSA said that the PreCheck program was again up and operational. Lastly, more than 35 million people across the Northeast are under blizzard warnings. A potentially historic winter storm could drop up to 2 feet of snow across New England. Forecasters say that for New York City, this could be the snowiest storm since 2021, when 17.5 inches fell. For Philadelphia, this will likely be the biggest snowstorm since January 2016. Officials are warning travelers to expect whiteout conditions and even closures. But for a check of forecast conditions across our region, here's Travis.
Well, hi, everybody. Good morning. Meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Monday morning. Back to the grind here as we start things off this week. And it is going to be a cold start to the morning. It is a cold start to the morning. Single digits and teens across the area. Now, there's not a lot of wind, thankfully. The skies are mostly clear. There are going to be a few thin clouds that pass through today. I'd say most of us mostly sunny, but maybe a few of you partly cloudy today. The winds are going to pick up out of the south as we head through the day ahead here. So we're going to talk about all of that here in just a few minutes. So let's bring you up with our weather graphics here, and again you can see the light winds to start with high pressure sitting over northeast Nebraska, but as the day goes on, those southerly winds picking up. There's a little bit of an increase in clouds, but these are mostly high level clouds, so again it's going to be kind of a partly to mostly sunny type day today. More clouds coming in tonight, the winds staying somewhat breezy, but notice they'll turn more westerly with time, so temperatures will actually fall and then rise later in the night as those winds shift to more westerly. West winds are notorious for warming things up here. In fact, I'm going to back up to today here. Look at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Most of us have that breezy southerly wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusts up to 30. Out west, the Panhandle, already a west wind. It's going to be much warmer in the Panhandle today. Again, the west wind shifts across the area tonight, so the rest of us will get to more of a westerly wind overnight. So kind of southwesterly over southeast portions of Nebraska right in here. Now, as we get into tomorrow, some of these clouds are, I'm going to call it partly to mostly cloudy, but despite that, much milder for your Tuesday. Tuesday, we'll also see a shift to more of a northerly wind later today, kind of a weak backdoor front here that keeps things a little cooler up north, but almost everybody's still going to be warming up. I will mention the winds right in here. Everybody's going to be pretty breezy, but there's going to be some stronger winds over southwest portions of Nebraska. Maybe some sprinkles late in the day and into Tuesday evening. The rest of us pretty quiet. Maybe a clouds breaking up a little bit as we get into Wednesday, as we have kind of a partly cloudy day ahead of us on Wednesday, ahead of a chance of rain that's going to build in Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. Now, temperatures out there for today, we're going to be warming up, but staying cold in the east. Of course, a lot more snow on the ground in places like Omaha and Lincoln, Fremont here. So that's going to hold temperatures back in the upper 20s and low to mid 30s here. But as you get farther to the west, less snow on the ground and a warmer air mass. So you see more 40s in here, some low 50s, mid 50s in southwest Nebraska, upper 50s to near 60 degrees, low 60s in the panhandle of Nebraska. Overnight tonight, not nearly as cold. Lows in the 20s and low 30s. And keep in mind, these might be middle of the night lows. Temperatures may actually come up a little bit later in the night and into tomorrow morning. So most of us should be a few degrees warmer than this as we approach sunrise on Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, a much milder day for most of the area, into the 50s and 60s, might even make a run for 70 in southwest Nebraska. Tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, mostly 20s, some low 30s in the south and southwest. And looking ahead to Wednesday, we are going to be looking at temperatures back to the 50s and 60s once again, with the warmest temperatures in the southwest. I will mention a little bit of chillier air over northeast Nebraska, highs in the 40s, even maybe struggling to 40 along the Missouri River there near Yankton and Sioux City. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, back to the 20s and lower 30s for lows, but and we do have a chance of rain Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night, but I'm hoping that any of that moisture that moves out of here before it gets too cold for snow to mix in. So the chances of snow are on the lower end of things for Wednesday night, but we'll mention that at least chance here. I'll talk about that more in just a bit. Looking at Thursday, we're back into the upper 50s and low to mid 60s. Should be a pretty nice day Thursday, and I think our warmest day actually comes on Friday before a weekend drop in temperatures. So looking at things here, again, we're cold today, but the average high is about 41, so we're going to be close to that later today in the Tri-Cities area. It's about 41 to 43. So we're going to be close to average for an afternoon temperature after that cold start, and then well above average Tuesday, Wednesday, despite extra clouds. There's that chance of rain Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Temperatures getting a little bit better on Thursday. More sunshine Thursday and Friday. And how about 70 for Friday? Now notice each and every day this week is going to be breezy. We are just getting into that time of the year where you start to get more wind. You start to approach the spring season. Winds become a little more commonly stronger anyway. We're going to get colder over the weekend and perhaps a little snow coming in Saturday night into Sunday, the first day of March, Nebraska's birthday. 159th birthday. Looking at the Tri-Cities extended outlook, once we get past this chillier weekend, there are signs of warming up a little bit, although the long-range models are in a battle right now with if we're going to be really warm or just maybe slightly warmer out there. I'll tell you right now, the GFS model is trying to push 60s, 70s, and even maybe 80 degrees back into our area by the middle of next week, whereas the European model has another shot of some Arctic air just to our north that's going to kind of keep us from really warming up much next week here. So there's the big battle as we get into next week. Looking at the North Platte extended forecast, again, near average high. The average high in North Platte today is 46. We'll be above average Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A slight chance of a little rain Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. Hopefully it's out of here before it gets too cold for any snow to mix in. The best day of weather will come in on Friday. Then we're a little colder over the weekend with a little light snow possible Saturday night and into Sunday. But once we get beyond this weekend, as we push towards the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of March, temperatures do try to recover a little bit, but there are, again, some question marks down the road. Now, the Climate Prediction Center says that the first full week of March is going to be well above average across most of the country. I do think we'll spend that time hopefully mostly above average. We'll see. Moisture-wise, they have us above average. Precipitation-wise, I don't see it right now. I'm very iffy on that. Let's take a look at the European model first when we go out the next 10 days here. And again, not a lot of moisture in our future. Maybe some sprinkles tomorrow night. Flurries up north maybe. But then there's that rain chance Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening, and look how it moves out before it gets too cold for much snow. It's not a major rain anyway. It's a light rain event here. Down the road, let's go towards the weekend here. After a couple of sunnier days, Thursday and Friday, the weekend, get that chance of some light snow Saturday night into Sunday during the day here. So a little snow possible. Looks like maybe a better chance off to our north, at least looking at the European model. After that, there's not a whole lot in our future as we get into next week. But the colder air is going to be kind of staying in northern parts of the U.S., which could keep some snow chances there. Let's look at the differences between that and the GFS now. Let's look at the GFS model. Again, we'll jump ahead to tomorrow, as we do have a slight chance of some sprinkles maybe tomorrow evening. Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night's our main rain chance, and I'm hoping most of it will clear out before too much snow tries to mix in. Sunnier on Thursday and Friday with some really nice weather Friday. And then Saturday, the increase in clouds with that slight chance of a little light snow by Saturday night into Sunday. But again, I'm just keeping it a slight chance right now. And then the GFS actually wants to warm things up next week and keeps us mainly on the dry side. So I'm not seeing a lot of moisture in our future here. Let's look at now let's finish off a look at the temperatures trending and how they're trending over the next week and a half here. So again, we are cold today. The cold air over the eastern half of the U.S. starts to see some shifting eastward here this afternoon. Western parts of the U.S., really the western U.S. is going to be much milder, and we'll get in on that milder air for everybody tomorrow. Now, a little shot of some cooler air there late in the day, Tuesday into Tuesday night, but still, it's basically what it's doing is just keeping our night a little colder. We're still looking pretty good Wednesday. The best weather will be Thursday and Friday. And then there's that weekend cool down, Saturday, Sunday, but the Arctic air hopefully is going to stay just to our north. So we're not brutally cold, we're just going to be chilly over the weekend. And then the European model, watch, while it tries to warm us up next week, has another shot of some Arctic air that comes into the northern U.S., and so that kind of glances by us, which will kind of keep us on the chillier side if that were to happen. The European model, like I said, is very different than the GFS model next week. All right, let's look at that GFS model here. Again, after a chilly start this morning, western areas will warm up today, and that will spread east tonight and into tomorrow. The best weather is going to come on Thursday and Friday, especially Friday. And then again, chillier weather as we head towards this weekend. But then the GFS model wants to warm things up as we get towards the middle of next week, where we could be very warm down the road here. So with that, I want to thank you all for watching on this Monday morning. I'll be back with you on Tuesday with all the latest. Take care, and God bless.